What's good, everybody? Welcome to the very first Fresh Friday. My name is Chef Teejay. All of this is brought to you by The Fresh Company with the freshest veg in Harare. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some pasta. We've got some lovely button mushrooms here, some red onion, garlic, tomatoes, cashew nuts for the finesse, a little bit of spinach, and some delicious fatties and monies. I'm basically going to take you through everything, show you guys how you prep, and then we'll get it done. Let's go. Right, guys, so today we're going to be doing a mushroom and spinach pasta. It is one of my favorite dishes. It's completely vegetarian, so sorry for the meat lovers, but I promise it tastes so good. The mushroom kind of works as a meat substitute, but not really. Again, so I'm going to take you through some of the processes of how we prep our ingredients, and you'll find that as we go through everything, that's pretty much where the bulk of the work is. And once we start cooking, it's plain sailing. So your prep will take about 30 minutes, and then the actual cooking itself only takes about 15 minutes, and you'll be stuffing your face, I promise. Okay, guys, so we're going to start with our spinach here. All I've done here is cut off the stalks, and then I've layered the leaves. So you go from the largest leaf to the smallest leaf inside. It makes it a little bit easier to work with and cut, and then all you do is roll it like this. Okay, so the technical term for this is a chiffonade, but no one calls it that. And then basically we just want nice thin slivers of our spinach like this. Okay, so we've got our spinach done there. Next, we're going to use our mushrooms. And pretty much what I like to do with these is just take out the stem like that. It makes for a little bit of a better shape. Okay, so we'll just run through those very quickly. Now these, you can actually eat these, so don't throw these away. So you can either just then add them in if you want to do that. Alternatively, you can keep them and then add them for stock, so just anywhere else where you'd like some mushroom flavor. They're also great in omelets, so for when you're making your breakfast in the morning. Okay, and then with our mushroom here, similar sort of thing. You want the slices to be a little bit thicker. Like I was saying earlier, because this is a substitute for meat, you want them to have a bit of bite and texture. So if you make them too thin, you don't really taste or feel in your mouth that you're eating mushroom, which is a bit of an L. So we're not going to do that. So next up, we've got some lovely red onions that we're going to use. So we're only going to use half. And all I've done is just taken the husk off, and I'm left with this beautiful inner piece. And then we just trim the end there. And then some nice thin slices. So you only want them to be about that thin. I'd probably say that's a millimeter, if not less. So next, now we're going on to our tomatoes and our garlic. This is going to form the base of the sauce for our pasta. And we're just going to grate both. So what I'll do here is I'll start with the tomatoes, and I'll just take the heads off here. So just take that off. This way we can use the entire tomato. And just go like that. And I'm just going to grate these into here. Fortunately, all of my tomatoes are super juicy. We're going to have plenty of sauce for our pasta. Now, one thing that you'll find with this recipe is that there actually isn't a lot of lactose in it, mainly because I'm lactose intolerant. But also I find it interesting to be able to make pasta dishes that aren't always creamy. I think the idea of, creamy pastas can get a little bit tedious and a little bit tiresome. So, recipes like this allow you to have a little bit of variety, especially if you love your pasta like I do. And then we'll jump straight into the garlic and just get it all in there. It's going to cook down anyway, and the garlic will need time to sort of infuse with the tomato. So these are little hacks that I use because, it can be a bit tedious to cook the garlic when you cook the tomato. So the last piece of the puzzle in terms of our prep is just our cashew nuts. What's up, guys? So with the magic of 1,000 wizards, we now have our stove set up. And here I've just got some water boiling, and I've put about, I'd probably say about 750 mils of water. And to that, I've added about 3 tablespoons of salt. So now your salt, content in the water needs to be really high, just so that it actually gets into the pasta and makes everything flavorful. So I'll just show you here. She's lovely and she's boiling. Okay, so while we've got that going, I'm just going to get our pasta ready. Now, there's two ways that people do this. It's either you can just kind of put the pasta in whole, and you see how you go there, or you can break it. I prefer leaving the pasta whole, because then you can do the whole slurpy with your spaghetti. And so I'll show you how I achieve that now. So I'm just doing half of the packet of pasta here. Cool. Okay, so I've just got half of the packet of pasta here, and all I'm going to do is whole as it is, throw it in like this, and we'll let them start talking to each other there. Cool. Just gonna put it down. And now we move on to the sauce. So we've got our tomatoes and garlic here that we did before. We've got our mushroom here, which we did before. Just add our onions, and obviously our cashews for the end. So I'll just get my stove going. And you always want a nice hot pan, okay? Whether you're making a sauce like this, or if you're cooking meats, whatever it is, always make sure your pan is nice and hot before you put anything inside it. Alright guys, so we've got our pasta going here. They've all melted in with each other and it's nice and soft, but it still needs a little bit to go. And now, our pan here is nice and hot, so we're just going to use some extra virgin olive oil. If you don't want to use olive oil, canola oil or sunflower oil is fine as well. Okay, olive oil just adds a little bit of a depth of flavor, that's all. Cool. And so now this is our tomato and garlic mix that we had prepared before. That's what we want to hear. Cool. So now we let this mixture go, and it's got to cook down until we get a nice deep red color from the tomatoes. It also helps the garlic sweeten a little bit, so it's not as pungent or garlicky, if you will. So that'll take about 10 minutes for that to go there, and then once we've done that, we'll add our mushrooms, our onions, and then we'll actually add the pasta, and then spinach and cashews last. Hey guys, so we're back, and what I've done here is so I've strained off our pasta, and I've kept the water because we're going to use that to help thicken our sauce here. So intermittently, as our tomatoes and garlic are cooking off, you just add a little bit at a time, because that will help cook through. There's also a little bit of starch in the water from the pasta, which is ultimately going to help us give a nice, creamy, sort of thick, silky sauce. Okay guys, now so we're back and we've got our mushrooms going here. We've got a nice little bit of color there. Our sauce is also starting to thicken, so we're nearly done. At this stage, everything goes a little bit quickly, so we will. So now we're just going to add the mushroom and onion mix to our tomatoes there. I'm just going to turn that off. Cool. So now we're just going to add some of our spaghetti. Okay, now what I've done here after straining is with the same sauce that with the same water that we've cooked our pasta in, I've just poured a little bit of that through. What that does is it loosens the starch, because otherwise it'll start to stick together, and that allows our spaghetti to be nice and loose, just like in the movies. Okay, we'll do that. So we're starting to get there. Now the last stage of our cook. We started with the spinach, we'll finish with the spinach. Okay, just sprinkle a little bit of that over the top. Add that into there. So what we're going to do here, just to help not only our spinach but also our pasta cook, so we're going to add a little bit more of that pasta water. And then a hack that I like to use just to help everything steam and it sort of pushes the spinach along a little bit is just to use the lid of a pot. If your saucepan has a pot, that works as well. And we just do that for about 30 seconds to a minute, and that's going to help cook the pasta really quickly. And then we'll be ready to go from there. So there we go, guys. It's beautiful and it's lovely. Our spinach is cooked through just the way we want it. Now we're going to get ready to plate. So there we have it, guys. That is my spinach and mushroom pasta with tomato and cashew nuts. Enjoy.